Alright, so let's talk about Heroes Battle Darksword, which is out now as an early access free-to-play tabletop strategy game, and if you ever played Supercell's Clash Royale, this is basically Clash Royale in VR for Meta Quest 2 Pro 3 3S. Disclosure, I did get access to the game before launch, thanks to Meta and the developers for giving me access to create this review, but I'm gonna be honest, I didn't check the game out until launch because, you know, Batman. I'll also include Quest 2 gameplay performance side by side with Quest 3 near the end of the video. I have a chapter so you can skip ahead if you like as well. Plus, this title does utilize hand tracking, which is perfect for a title like this, and a mixed reality mode. The mixed reality mode is still quite limited, but the devs insist on adding more features and content in the future. This is also a title that's perfect to play while sitting down, and keep in mind this is a work in progress review. I'll start with the good and move on to the critiques. Similar to what I consider predatory games on the Google Play Store filled with ads, but since it's in early access, I'll give them the benefit of the doubt, and they mention being welcome to feedback, so here it is. As the initial gameplay, having played a decent amount, it's really fun if you're into competitive tabletop strategy games that require you to outsmart your enemy in a 1v1 multiplayer match with deck building strategy involved. And my overall opinion of Heroes Battle Darksword is that for a free-to-play game on Quest, the concept is really good. And in my playthrough, I haven't spent a single dime playing the game and managed to not lose a single match, versus people that actually paid to unlock new units. However, the next day for the people that actually paid for in-game items and in order to progress at all and unlock certain units in the game, they have a massive advantage boost over people that didn't pay. However, when you're actually ranked against someone that is in a similar skill level and has the same leveled troops and towers, the game is actually quite fun, offering engaging gameplay that's really addicting as you see your troops move and attack forward, as in order to win, you either have to destroy more buildings than your opponent to win, or if it's a stalemate, go to overtime. There's already so many games like this. Matches are 3 minutes long, but while strategizing and formulating your game plan, time goes by extremely fast. Not ones that I get bored and you queue in seconds, but sometimes you do play against bots that randomly shoot arrows at the center and they have the same starting lineup. Troops on your deck have different costs, health, damage, spells, AoE damage. It gets pretty complex to adapt to your opponent's deck and forcing them to show their hand. And it's important to be mindful of the point regeneration system on the bottom and keeping a decent tempo and understanding and picking up on missteps from your enemy. With my gameplay, all it takes is one single wrong move and you're done. In terms of content, I was also a bit impressed by how much content is actually made available already in the game at just early access. From the in-game ranking systems, leveling up each time you finish a match, hero pass progression, and the more you play, you eventually upgrade your troops to get an edge on your enemy. The structure is very similar to that of a mobile game on the Google Play Store. When you play with actual people, battles get extremely intense, and a tip is always prioritize making your enemy react to your moves, and it requires a decent troop positioning and timing to ensure you come out on top. And already there's a vast amount of pickable characters to learn and unlock, which have extremely cool character designs, and on Quest 3 the base resolution is pretty decent. All the footage I've included is captured on Quest 3, shot with MetaQuest Developer Hub in 16:9 cinematic mode. However, this is my main point of contention. One of my main critiques with Heroes Battle Darksword is the free-to-pay business model, which I'm not a big fan of, which is give or take, because although this helps ensure there are people playing this game for a long time, for a game in early access, and I have not purchased anything yet, but playing with actual players, it sits on the verge of freemium and pay to win. And I haven't lost a single game as someone that hasn't spent a single dime, but people who purchase anything do have a edge in battles. Plus, another bad thing, you can unlock any other characters by just actively playing the game. For an early access title, they already have a full microtransaction storefront. Secondly, in order to progress in the game at all, you do need to buy the battle pass that costs $9.99. My biggest issue with spending money on a live service type of game is that if these servers do go down or if they shut down, you'll no longer be able to access anything that you have purchased. I like my games to be available offline, plus I prefer developers go in the route of making revenue by selling skins, cosmetics, environments, or even hand models. In my opinion, it's a bit disingenuous to market this as a free-to-play game, and to an average consumer, it seems like a cash grab. For me, $10 is really nothing in the grand scheme of things, and this is coming from the same guy that has bought every Beat Saber music pack that people often say is a cash grab to buy licensed music. In a video game like this, I would rather work towards goals or unlocking certain stuff and progressing through the game normally rather than just getting everything because I simply paid for it. It desperately needs a path to unlock everything organically with grinding for it. And as a content creator, I still kind of cringe when I refer to myself as that. I did get a code for gems to unlock stuff, and this is how the game looks once everything is unlocked. It's pretty awesome. I have the privilege to do so, but many people don't. It's simply unfair, but I really do hope they revisit the drawing board. Games need to make money, but I think there's better ways for me and others to support them. And with VR still, it isn't a cash cow unless you're one of the few games like Gorilla Tag or Beat Saber. Plus, the publisher and developer Come To Us does these type of gacha games, so I wouldn't put it past them. The idea of this game is good, but the plan towards monetization is absolutely horrible. And another thing is, while playing, there are real players in the game and bots that you do go up against. You can tell simply by looking at the players' hand models. If they are fixed to a position, it's a bot, and if they actually move, it's a real player. I encountered at least a dozen people playing, and skill matchups vary a ton. You will play with the same people a lot, and it also offers voice chat, which you could toggle on or off in settings. Mixed reality is extremely bare bones, and hopefully they add a way to scale and resize the table rather than just positioning it in different angles. The concept for this to be a success is there, and it needs a practice mode for me to test different builds, and or a single player mode for those not interested in multiplayer battles. Now with the visual comparison and performance metrics on both Quest 2 and Quest 3 3S, first off, this is a title that runs perfectly fine at 72 FPS, and hiccups only really occur while recording or switching between mixed reality with pass-through. Resolution on Quest 3 3S is decently high, and Quest 2 suffers the usual same fate of running at a much lower resolution. More than ever with comparing games to Quest 2, developers are beginning to utilize the extra headroom Quest 3 3S offers. I'm a bit surprised that this title doesn't use application spaceware with projection. Application spaceware for seated games is where its implementation usually shines the most, compared to intense games where it's implemented like Assassin's Creed VR or Metal Hellsinger. The difference of resolution is a pretty major hit, especially on Quest 2. There's a lot of aliasing jaggies, but on Quest 3 3S it runs perfectly fine and looks pretty good. But regarding performance, it's pretty much on par. Environments are static, and I do hope in the future they add more dynamic environments, and when Meta does actually release augments, if they ever do, maybe you can add this into your play space to play without booting up the entire game. All that to say, go try the game out and see if you like it, and desperately leave a review if you're against the pay to win aspect. I think the foundation to a great tabletop is there for the taking on Quest. I tried this game on a whim to see what it was about, and it's good competitive fun. Remove the pay to win aspect, go paid, or offer other options without blocking out an entire segment of the game to most players. To end the video, like always, that's my early impressions of Heroes Battle Darksword. Hopefully after some updates I could return to this title once it exits early access. I'll leave a link to it in the description to the app and the meta storefront. Leave a like or dislike if you think I'm a shill. Subscribe for similar VR content ramblings from me. Hopefully a full review of Batman is next. Until the next video, see ya.